Good morning. Hey Spiros. Hey Jambi. Hi Ola. Hi BL. How is everyone doing? Give it a couple of minutes before we get started. Good to know, Ola. Good to know. Daily market analysis today. So, if you have any questions, get them ready, put them into the chat. 2 more minutes and we shall get started. If you're watching on TradingView, drop a message, say hi. If you're new to the session, let me know where you're joining from. If you're on YouTube and see a couple of you watching but not saying hi, so drop a message and say hi too. Hey Booba. Good morning, Suki. Ready to go? Ready to get started? Let me know. Send a message. Say, let me know you're ready to go. Hasn't moved too much. Had a small, tiny trade, but apart from that, nothing moved too much so far. Hopefully, we'll see a little bit more movements later on tonight. Hey, Jerry. Alrighty, so let's get started. Again, thank you all for joining the session. Daily market analysis. We do this every day, Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. GMT plus 8. So for all the regulars, big thank you for setting aside the time, joining me on this session. You know the drill. If you have any questions, put it into the chat. Let me know any specific currency pairs that you'd like me to look at or instruments you'd like me to look at. Put it into the chat and let me know. If you're new to the session, also remember that the links are there for the Discord channel, the trading community. You can click on that, join up. It is free, absolutely free to join for now, and it will be free to join later on as well. Okay, so it'll be maintained as a place that you guys can join to take the discussion beyond this 1 hour session that we'll be doing. So what I do in the community, I will be sharing with you anything that I'm looking at, any possible trade setups that I'm jumping into. You get a pretty much live update, not just from me, but from everyone else in the community as well. So do join up if you haven't already. Hey Goju, hey Trusting Cloud, good to see you. Hey Angel Case, hi Nick, hi Cyrif, yep, Chiwan, hi. Yeah, Buba, I remember that I'm going to do a support and resistance strategy. I think what I'll do for that, in addition to the support and resistance, we'll also be doing something on supply and demand as well, right? So we'll be combining that. That's why it's taking a little bit longer. Okay. So during this session, what I'll be looking at is the fundamentals that happened since the last time we spoke, which in this case is nothing. It's been really quiet through last night. We just saw some technical rebound, so that's where we look at the technicals. Price reacting to a support level or resistance level or even a Fibonacci level, and then combining that together, we look for some possible trade setups. And as much as I can, I will try and prioritize the trade setups for you guys in terms of which is likely to happen sooner, which is likely to take a little bit longer. And at some point, we might even say we know where price could be heading towards, but stay out, just watch for it to get to a level and to react to a level. Okay, so with all that said, just a quick disclaimer is that any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. Please do your own due diligence because the contents of this webinar is not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product. Your objectives, financial situation, and needs has not been considered, and you should consider what we share here for its appropriateness to your current circumstances. Okay, so as usual, if you have any particular trades that you like to share or like me to give you my point of view, I'll be happy to take that on board as well. I think Ola was sharing something about the Euro Aussie, so we'll look at that as a possible bounce off a support level potentially. And Joshua was sharing something about the Aussie dollar reacting to that resistance level. Okay, so you can always, this is where we are looking at trades together in the community, and then we can answer them during this session or in the server itself. Okay, so let's keep going. In terms of the news, what happened yesterday since the last time we spoke, 3 p.m. yesterday, nothing much, right? Nothing much happened. The UK was on a holiday because of the coronation of King Charles III. The French were on holiday because of Victory Day, and then not a lot of news was released for the US on the US economy side. So because of that, right, we didn't see too much price volatility, right? In terms looking at our Kiwi dollar here, since we spoke, it went back up, it went up, it came back down. It's right at that pretty much the same level where we started off. Okay, dollar index as well. Oops, take that away. Dollar index as well. When we spoke, was at 101.101. We were anticipating for it to drop down. It bounced off this support level, similar to what it did on the 26th of April, and then again on the 4th of May, and now most recently on the 8th of May, it's bounced off that support. So it didn't drop as we expected, instead it bounced back up. So we do an update on that. So not much happened in terms of the news yesterday. Through to today, again, we did have a bunch of news, but they were not huge price movers, right? A whole bunch of news, not big price movers. And also, right, 5:30 p.m., we do have the Aussie with their annual budget release. In the broad scope, this could lead to some movements on the Aussie dollar, but I don't think it will be something that will have a big spike or big drop in terms of price action. Okay, so I don't think this is something to be super concerned about as a short to medium term trader. And then you see not much other news to be released. Okay, so my view looks like prices are going to fluctuate a little bit, but we might see a resumption of trend given some supportive price action on the dollar index. Moving on from today, what do we have next, or not next week, but tomorrow on Wednesday? Again, not a lot of news in the lead up, but we are coming towards the CPI release tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. So just remember that the focus right now in terms of economic data is all or mostly on inflation, which is CPI, and on the interest rates decision. Okay, so I think that 8:30 tomorrow, we could see price move quite significantly. So I would say that just be super aware of that. Any trades you get into today, you might want to get out by tomorrow evening, GMT +8, or wherever you are, in the lead up to this news event. But I will update you further tomorrow during our session with more views or more detailed view in terms of what I think CPI for the US year on year is likely to be. Currently 5%, expected to stay at 5%. It's been on that downward drop. On April, it went from 6 to 5. Might actually see a small rebound, but I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. Okay. Hey Mark, how are you doing? So in terms of news, not much surprises to come. So let's look at the charts to see where if there's any possible trade setups developing. So today is the 9th of May, right? The 9th of May. The dollar index is still at, or is rebounded off that 101 level right now at 101.40, right? Right now at 101.40. Because I view it as a bit of a technical rebound, right? It didn't drop as we expected from yesterday. But you can see the overall trend with a support level at 100.80. A rebound this way, I think that we could still see some downside potential on the dollar, right? Some downside potential on the dollar, although right across the board, we're seeing prices pretty much at a high, showing some level of retracement. Okay, so I think what we could see, just to make it a bit more specific, is that we might see it consolidate around this region. Okay, so I think we might see it consolidate around this region, and then after that slowly drop down to that 101 level, and possibly even down to that 100.80. Okay, so DXY to continue weakness down to, I would say, 101 first, to 101. Could it bounce? Could it go further up? Could it break above that resistance? I think any upside potential could be limited, right? It might look a bit like this. It might come up to this point, and then after that, turn down. Right, the 50% level still looks like it's holding. It's likely to hold quite strong, and above that, the 61.8 is quite near as well at 101.9, about 101.90. So I think any upside potential might still be looking at that down, maybe a brief upside before coming back down. Okay. Hey, M Leader, good to have you back. How was your break? Okay, I think we'll update this and we might say DXY brief upside, but generally continue weakness down to 101. Okay, so I think I might do this and then after I come back down to 101. So might get a little bit tricky, but just be careful with that. So with that said, or with that view of the dollar index, looking at the Kiwi, right, we saw this trade, this bounce back up towards that 0.6358 level, but then it retraced back down. Okay, so I'll take this away just to clear stuff up. It didn't go as high as we expected, but we do have this trend line still maintaining. Okay, I'll take this away from, I'll tell you what, I'll put this here as a bit of a support area. I'll take that away. I just don't like two lines too close to each other. Okay, so right now, looking at this on the Kiwi, what might, right, looking at the dollar, thinking that it could push up a little bit before coming back down, I think this might support the view on the Kiwi dollar, where we might see this come down, test the support level before pushing back up. I'm still looking at that upward move on the Kiwi dollar with anticipation that the 23.6 will be there. Okay, so you see a bit of an alignment, that support level at 0.6313 or even 0.63 as a round number, that trend line providing some support, the 23.6 retracement level providing some support. We could be looking for this to come down, test, look like it's going to break before bouncing back up. So something to watch out for. I would say this view will be for the Kiwi dollar in terms. So in terms of a setup, you could be looking for a bounce, 6320, 50 pip upside, 55 pip upside, 20 pip stop loss, 25 pip stop loss, or 1:2 to the upside. Okay, so 6320, stop loss 20, take profit 55. Buy 0.6320, stop loss 20, take profit 55. M leader says, great, family is now looking for pips. Hey, the pips are always here or thereabouts. So don't rush into a trade. I'm not rushing into trades over this. I haven't been rushing into trades over this last couple of days, just because of how price has been moving. So don't feel like you have to rush in. Okay, there are many news to be released over the next couple of days. I think that if you're not rushing, if you're not entering any trades right now, don't feel like you're missing out on opportunities. I think there are a lot of opportunities to be set up through the week. Okay. Hey Jamil, good to see you. So Aussie dollar looks a lot better in terms of, so take this away because it didn't trigger. Okay, so this was the one that Joshua was sharing on in the community, where we can see that happening. Okay, and why I think that, I was commenting that looks like a good setup for a possible correction to the downside is we've seen that reaction along this 6795 or 6800 resistance area. Okay, it's tested once, rejected on the 4th of April, tested once or second time, rejected on the 14th, and now most recently again on the 8th of May. And if you consider this to the upside, it is coming close to that 23.6 level. So I would say we are, if we see the dollar weakness come around, we could be looking to buy the Kiwi dollar up. If the dollar weakness doesn't come around, if we see that dollar strength push through, then maybe a counter trend or a correction back down on the Aussie dollar will be quite valid. Okay, or that resistance, rejection of that resistance, again, that fib level there, right? If you did get in earlier, that would have been a very good entry there, right? So I would have said that about 6770, you would have a 30 pip stop loss. You could see a 60, 70 pip take profit, right? But given that price has pushed lower already, I would say that if it goes down below 23.6, 6750, I don't know why this is a support here. Let me just see. I think that support level was something that we had from earlier, right? I would say a more valid one would be right there at 6688, which is also that 50% level. So, what could happen? A little bit of an aggressive entry will be maybe at the close of this candle, if it does show that downside potential, then we could see this trade down towards that 38.2 and possibly even that 50. So why I'm highlighting 38.2 is because we do have that trend line providing some support. If it does break that trend line, then we have a horizontal support level at 6688. Okay, 6688 or 6690. So I would like this. In fact, I would say that because it is counter, I would put my stop loss at about 30 pips, my take profit at about 66 or 70, and then I will have a consideration at about 40 pips at that trend line. Okay, so Aussie dollar, I would be, so you can see this is sell at 675, sell, no, let's find a better level. 6755, 30 pip stop loss, 65 pip take profit. Sell below 0.6755, stop loss 30, take profit 65. Okay, you can see that we're looking either to buy the Kiwi dollar or to sell the Aussie. You definitely don't want to do both because that's just going to be one of it is going to make money, one of it is going to lose. Looking at the way the dollar is pushing up, might be looking for some downward move, and then we might see it bounce back up. Okay. Hey Diana, a little bit late, didn't miss too much. We just got through a bit of the dollar, a bit of the Kiwi, and now the Aussie dollar. All right. So if you did miss it, this is recorded. You can always catch back up after the session. Hey Jamila, good to see you here. Okay, so yeah, I think it will be a good downward move, but we might see it come down, test, and then bounce back up again. But for now, I would say, look for it to go down, test that trend line, possibly some sell, and then Kiwi dollar might come down nearer before bouncing back up. Then on to the yen, pound Aussie, okay. So I've got Euro Aussie, pound Aussie, and Euro dollar, and Euro yen. Okay, good. US yen, we were looking for it to push up to that 50% level. Didn't go as high as expected. In fact, it's just bouncing around. All right. Nope. Okay. So I'll take that away for now. I don't think. Yeah, I'll take this away. Right. It's just bouncing around this 135 level. Okay, I'll take this away. Because the trade didn't trigger, but it's just bouncing around this level. I think that it is likely that the yen could, well, given that it's consolidating, right? So for me, how I look at the yen, I always see it consolidating and then a potential breakout. Looking at the MACD, looks like it might turn down a little bit before pushing up, taking that away. So I do, you can trigger different analysis just to help with your different indicators, just to help with your analysis. 200 providing that resistance. Hey Mady, how are you doing? Mady, so I think that, I would like to see, okay, I think it's going to consolidate in this range all the way through to tomorrow's CPI number to be released on the dollar. But given how 50% is there, it's at 38.2, I would like to see a potential bounce to the upside, right? So if we zoom out here on the yen, you can see that it's come down. This trend line is well supported. I'm trying to force an analysis here. It looks, I would like to, based on the views, 135.50, a breakout above 135.50, we could see, I don't think it moved that much. A stop loss of, if it breaks above that point, 60 pips, a take profit. Okay, I'll tell you what, here we go. That's my view on the yen. Okay, why I think this is that it's consolidating. What could happen? One scenario is that it could come down, right, around this range, come down, bounce off this level, and push up. Or then you could be looking for a buy of that trend line. So about 134.40, stop loss tight at about 50 pips, take profit way up there at 330. Huge move. Alternatively, if it doesn't drop, then a breakout of this consolidation could see the yen push up. Ultimately, I don't think it's going to scale up to that 138 region quite quickly. I would say that if it does, super. If not, then you could be looking to get out anywhere in between or move your stop loss up, for a risk-free trade. So looking to buy above 135.50, stop loss about 60 pips, take profit 200. Okay, buy above 135.50, stop loss 60, take profit 200. But this is waiting for the breakout of consolidation. Okay. This is really a waiting game. It's really a waiting game. It's consolidating. If you try to rush into a trade on the yen, I think that it's going to be a lot more. It's not worth it. It's not worth trying to rush in right now. Okay. Then looking at the pound dollar, right? I did get into the moving average 200 will be trespassing in both cases. Let's bring that back. Yeah, so you'll be breaking above that 200 level. So that's why I was be looking at a breakout. Could see it break above 200. Could see 200 support that big upward move. Okay, so good spot there, Mark. So you're looking at from this point maybe a breakout to that upside as well. Either a retrace, push up, or that big push to the upside. Pound dollar, I got on my trade earlier, so it broke that previous low, that slight low there, and that trend line. So my trade got triggered. I only had just a couple of, not many pips on that one, right? So I got out, and then it shot up. Right now, coming back down again because of that dollar strength, right? Because of that dollar strength pushing prices or pushing the dollar index higher. That's why we see this push back down. At this point, if you haven't got into a trade already, I think that it will be a little bit dangerous, right? Dangerous to get into this trade, because if you did get in here, then support, it hasn't really formed a good downward move yet. Support, take profit at the support of almost 30 pips. Stop loss will be, even if I did move it, a 30, a 1:1, not really worth it. I would like to see the pound dollar trade back down. Yeah, I would like to see the pound. So this is the move up. Take away that moving average. I would like to see the pound dollar move down over today and possibly tomorrow. Okay, why that is because on Thursday we do have the Bank of England with their interest rate decision, 25 basis point rate hike expected, but it could be a dovish hike, right? It could be a dovish hike, so we might see it drop back down. So because of that, I would like to see pound dollar come down to this support region. Then if it does break this support, we could be looking to sell this down, 25, 30 pips stop loss, take profit, 65 pips to the downside. That would be a good counter trend trade. And if you note this big long-term trend line, that's going to support this view. So you come down to that long-term trend line to that 1.25 round number support level again. Okay, so pound dollar looking to sell below 1.2570, stop loss 25, take profit 60. Sell below 1.2570. Go. Stop loss 25. Was it? 570. Yep. Stop loss 25. Take profit 65. TP 65. Okay. So looking at this, possibly some downside. So looking at some downside on the potentially some downside on the pound dollar, and then some downside on the Aussie dollar, which is actually forming up quite nicely right now. Then looking at the pound Aussie, what did you say? Suki is asking pound Aussie going to reverse on the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 1 hour time frame. It has pretty much bounced back up. I'll clear out these lines. Just let's restart this analysis. All right, we found a good support level here. Okay, I'll drag this right across. You can see it's formed a bit of a support level there. We have the next one down here. It does look like it's going to bounce, but I'm pretty sure it will be reacting to, well, it's reacting to that 23.6 level. Right, so it's reacting to that 23.6 level. If and only if it breaks above 1.8670, then we could see this push up. I would say an interim level would be about 1.88 with the big resistance at 1.90, right? 1.9022. Okay, so what you could be looking for is not ready yet, right? Not ready yet. I think that you could be looking for a long position above 1.8670. All right, you could have a very big 100 pip stop loss, 120 pip take profit. If it comes up, then you could be looking at more upside potential. But I think, a 1:1 on the upside there on the pound Aussie. Ideally, what I would like is for it to retrace down before pushing back up, but you know that this 23.6 level is going to form is now forming quite a strong resistance. Okay, why is it dropping right now? It's also because of the way the pound dollar is moving. Right, pound dollar pushing down, and that's why we see the pound Aussie pushing to the downside. So don't rush in. For this to push up, the pound dollar needs to strengthen, or the Aussie dollar needs to weaken quite significantly, which would be this move, right? I would prefer the Aussie dollar to sell the Aussie dollar down compared to buying the pound Aussie up, because the pound dollar dropping could counteract some of this move to the upside. Okay. So with that, then Mark also said pound Kiwi has some nice downtrend. Yes, we were looking at this to come down towards that support level. It is right in the middle of that support and resistance level. I would say that, it looks like it could go down. However, you have about a 60 pip, 70 pip take profit. Stop loss is a little bit variable, right? The stop loss level is going to be a little bit variable. So because of that, I would say not ideal, right? It looks like it's going to move down, but in terms of a trade setup, not ideal on the H1 time frame. It might be something that you want to do on the smaller time frame there. Okay, so we've done that. Okay, then looking at the euro dollar, totally gone against what we were saying yesterday. So I was anticipating that push to the upside on the euro dollar, didn't happen. In fact, right after we talked about it, it went pretty much straight down. Right now, revisiting that was 1.0970 support area, right? Looking to break that trend line as well. Just double checking on the news on why it's been moving that much. Sustainable and yield control, that's interesting. So we'll look at that later on. No big news on the euro dollar, but yet we're seeing the euro dollar drop quite significantly. I would say that, it's doing what we've seen it do on the 26th, a big trade to the downside. Again, 4th of May came down. Right now, looks like it's pushing lower. I would be, okay, so anticipating the euro dollar to drop further. What you could be looking for is some selling opportunity. So below 1.0960, tight stop loss, 20 pips, take profit about 40, 45 pips to the downside. We're looking at a move very similar to what we see here, right? If I drag this right across, you see that. So if it does break, we could see it come down to that support level. Some hesitation possibly at 1.0943. Okay, but I think that we could see it drop quite strongly to the downside. So euro dollar 1.0960, stop loss 20 pips, take profit 40 pips. Euro dollar sell 1.0960, stop loss 20, take profit 40, with some hesitation at 1.0945. 1.0945. Okay. What do I think about the US CAD? I'll get to that shortly. So looking at the Euro Aussie, then looking at the Euro dollar, then let's look at the Euro Aussie. Sweet laggy today. I think Ola was looking at this, considering a rebound to the upside. Euro, potentially the Euro weakness is going to, I see this big drop, right? We were anticipating that, I think this was on the H4 time frame that you were showing, for some push bounce back up. The reason why it would bounce back up would have to be, either that Euro strength or the Aussie weakness. But what we're seeing right now is that Euro weakness. So I think that taking away these lines for now, pulling this fib level down, there is a couple of hurdles that needs to be crossed first. Right, so and we've seen that. So the last time it bounced off these levels for the upward move is at 1.6261, and that 23.6 Fibonacci retracement level at 1.63. Any sustained move to the upside would have to clear this area first. Right? Any sustained move would have to clear this area first. I don't think it's ready yet. Right? And after it clears up, we do have a few levels, but not ready yet. I would prefer, because we're looking at that euro possibly dropping further, I would consider maybe whether the euro Aussie could do this, right? Trade up to 1.63, test, reject, and come back down to the support level at 1.6050. All right, so Ola, that's my view on the euro Aussie. Jamil was in the euro dollar sell, looking very good there. And then Diana with the euro yen selling down. All right, breaking, looking for it to break that 148 level. If it does break 148, euro dollar dropping, US yen possibly dropping, right? Holding that resistance, might drop before bouncing back up. I would think euro yen could see that downside potential down towards that 146.50 support level. Okay, so I think that we could see that. Lydia, I knew you're going to ask about the euro yen and the pound yen. So euro yen is there, needs to break 148 before we could see 146.50, with some hesitation at 147, and just above that 147 level. Okay. Do we interrupt any trading before New York tomorrow? What do you mean, Mark? What do you mean by do we interrupt any trading? In terms of would you hold off? I would. Wait for the news to be released. You could trade the news, but that's a whole different ballgame. So you could trade the news, but if you're not comfortable trading the news, the CPI data, then I would say, try as much as you can to be neutral on your positions before the news. Once the news comes out, get a better idea of where price could be heading towards, then you could get into trades after that. Then looking at the pound yen, we were looking for this. The view still holds. It did very nicely, went up, tested 170, almost 180 or 171 resistance level, turning down. I do anticipate for this move to continue down towards that 169 support level. Breaking that, we could see 168. Okay, so very quickly, that was the view on the euro yen and also the pound yen. Then, did I miss anyone on? No, I answered those. I've got the US CAD next up coming. Okay. Oh, Buba asked about the Kiwi CAD. Okay, once I've done CAD, I'll jump to the Kiwi CAD. US Swiss franc didn't drop, right? In fact, it's pushing to the upside. Why is it going up? It's really because of that dollar index pushing to the upside with the view or anticipation that it's pushing up to possibly come back down again. Then I think that you could be looking at, take that away because it's not valid anymore. Looking at this move. Okay, I think what we could be looking for, remember that big trend line that we have way up there, we could be looking for this. Okay, so just showing you the relevance of that trend line. In fact, we have it way up there as well, but this one has a better fit. I would say maybe what you want to be looking for here on the US Swiss franc, the Swissy, is for it to trade up, test that diagonal trend line to the downside, and then push back down towards that resistance turned support level. So in this case, I will be looking for a selling position 8950, tight stop loss 15-20 pips, take profit maybe 40 pips to that round number level on the US Swiss franc. Okay, so 20 to 40 on the US Swiss franc. So 8950. So I would say climbing up, look for rejection of trend line, sell below 0.8950, stop loss 20, take profit 40. Okay, good stuff. Okay, so with that, then looking at the US CAD, done very nicely, did very nicely for us, where it did drop. It didn't go as low as 1.33, it went to 1.3314, so about 15 pips away from where we thought it would bounce before pushing back up. Okay, so at this point, same thing, it's right in the middle there, anticipating this should be taken away. Okay, so looking at this, so it's always updating your lines here, guys. And then you're looking at right now that 23.6 level. I would take this away and consider the 50% level up there. Now I would go a little bit lower than 50%. I would say about 1.3450. As a dollar strength trade, right? It's slowly forming a very weak, I don't know whether it's considered weak, but not a strong inverted head and shoulder pattern there, right? So if it breaks that neckline, which coincides with the 23.6 fib level, we could see it climb up towards that 1.3470 and 1.3450 resistance level. Okay, so possibly going to see some upside. It could be looking, because of the pattern, 1.3395, take profit about 60, 70 pips, stop loss about 30 pips, 1:2 to the upside there on the US CAD. Okay, so I'll be looking to buy above 1.3395, stop loss 30, take profit 60. 0.3395, stop loss 30, take profit 60. There we go. Right, I would love to see this come up, hit that resistance, and turn down. You're most welcome there, Diana. Hey, and if you guys find this useful, do help me out. Click that thumbs up button on YouTube. Remember to subscribe to the channel. If you're on TradingView, then click that rocket ship button, and also make sure you follow me on TradingView. Okay, right now, people on YouTube are winning with the thumbs up compared to everyone else on TradingView. Okay, so that's the US CAD. Then looking at the Kiwi CAD, what's your view on the Kiwi CAD? So Buba is asking about the Kiwi CAD. I think that if the US CAD were anticipating some upside move, that's going to predict the potential move here on the Kiwi CAD, because for this to, I'm anticipating, based on the first review, we're possibly thinking that it's going to push up. For this to push up, either Kiwi dollar needs to strengthen, which we're looking for it to bounce up, could happen, or the CAD to weaken, but I think that could push up. So on the Kiwi CAD, I think that we might see this. Here's what I think. We might see this come up to about that 50 to 61.8 level and turn back down again. Okay, so I think that we might see this do this in the short term on the Kiwi CAD. In terms of a possible trade, I wouldn't be too keen on it. Hasn't really formed any strong directional buyers for now. All right, Buba. Hi, Robbie. Good to see you here. Hi, okay, Marcus. Micro E Mini. Okay, send me the symbol for that. I don't normally look at micro E Mini, so send me the symbol on that, Marcus. All right, so while Marcus is sending me that, let's look at the gold. All right, gold, I was looking for it to fluctuate in this range. It's fluctuating within this range, but in a smaller fluctuation. Okay, so it's really just consolidating along this 2025 price level. I don't think we're going to see any crazy moves on gold for today. I think the big moves are possibly going to be reserved for tomorrow, especially with the CPI to be released. Okay, so gold likely to remain along that range, more specifically along the 2025 price level. Alrighty. Okay, so let's look at MESM 2023. Consolidating, right? Looks like it's breaking, potentially going to break this consolidation. The party starts tomorrow on gold for sure. For sure. Not for sure, but that'd be something that I'll be looking forward to. In terms of the E-mini, I would say that looking at it on H4 time frame as well, consolidating. Hey, with that consolidation and the way the price is moving, I would be looking for the downward potential. Right, naturally there is both that upside and downside potential on a breakout from the consolidation, but if it does break below that 23.6, which aligns with this support level at 41.36, then we could see this break down, possibly right filling up this gap here. I think we could see it come down to about 4100. Yeah, 4100. So I think if it does break this support level, we could see it come down towards that 61.8 level at about 4100, which would also support the idea, which would support some idea of a dollar strength. So we need to see how this develops. If this pushes up and continues up, then it's likely that we're going to see this trade quite significantly to the downside. All right, Marcus, hope I answered your question there. Insight on US oil. And those not okay. No worries. US oil. Right, we were looking for this to trade down. It did that. So despite not something I trade, a chart is a chart, right? It's all price action. Still looking for that downside. I like how it's reacted close around that 74 level, turning down. Let me just clear out some of these old lines. I would, okay, there we go. Okay, let's look at an H4 time frame first, just to get a bit of a better view. We do know for sure a very big support at this level of 64. A big fib down got resisted at 50, right? So held at 50%. Could also be a good resistance. I would say that given the way it's moving, naturally we would be looking for some further downside potential there. So in terms of the news, oil dips on weak Chinese imports, Chinese data, gloomy Chinese data, US CPI looms, oil price eases in cautious trade, inflation data. It comes down to inflation, CPI again, the ever increasing risk and concern about a global recession is also adding on that pressure to the downside. So I would say that we're looking for some downside move. 71, so back to the H1 time frame. I think a sustained downside move would have to break below 71 before we're going to see it come down, with the immediate target level of 68. 68, and then we could see a quick spike down to 64 again. All right, Suki, I hope I answered your question there. OPEC does not want to produce for now. Yeah, there was, I think, can't remember, a month ago, where they did come out to talk about scaling back on production levels. So that's also the reason why we've been seeing that big downward move on oil. Okay. Buba has a buy trade on Tesla. Where do you expect a strong pullback? I used to have Tesla. I used to have it on my list. Okay. That was my big resistance level from long ago. Hey, look at the gap. Okay, I'm not looking at it on H1 time frame. Let's look at H4 gap, possibly filled or filling 50% level. You have a buy trade on Tesla where you expect a strong pullback. I think of that in terms of earnings the last time round. Surprise, big downside. That's why we saw it drop. That's why we saw that big gap. A news front breaks ground on new lithium in Texas, cheaper batteries. Might see this climb up towards 180, fill up that gap. I think, yeah, we could see this come up to this level, and then after that, I don't like doing too much technicals on equities, because it's still going to be driven a lot by the financials. Okay, so there's something to bear in mind. So, right, based on technicals alone, you'd say, okay, based on technicals alone, you'd say it needs to pull back and then, or continue trading up and then pull back down to that trend line. But if the financials are strong, it's not strong, but if the financials are supportive, then it's going to keep going up. There's no reason for a technical pullback. Okay, so I think if you have a buy, it looks reasonable to 180, then consider the price action along there and look out for the next round of reports or any other news release. Okay, gap will fill and might go a bit down then up. Yeah, so it could look very much like this. could look very much like this and then back up again. Not sure whether it'll go all the way, but it looks like a pattern like that, right? Very similar to what we saw early March, where it came down and then pushed back up to that resistance again. Okay, very good, guys. So, we're now expanding right across. We started off looking at only the majors and gold, uh, build it up to not just the majors, but also cross pairs. So far, no one's asked me about any exotic pairs yet. So, fingers crossed, no one asked me about that. And then we looked at indexes. Now we're looking at equities as well. We've looked previously at cryptocurrencies, but it hasn't been too flash. All right, very choppy, big spikes and retracements. So we haven't been paying too much attention to that for the time being. But hey, if you guys have any other pairs or instruments that we can look at, do put it into the chat and let me know. All right. I do trade Tesla nowadays, even good earnings still went down. I used to trade Tesla way back. Way back, I looked at levels and I looked to buy, but it has been a bit of a mixed bag recently, not recently, over the last couple of years. Okay, so just a quick reminder again, if you haven't already, the link is there on TradingView and on YouTube. Do join the Discord channel. We can take our discussion beyond this session. I'll see you on the Discord channel, and if not, I'll see you tomorrow 3 p.m. for the market analysis again. So for now, please trade well, trade safe, and take care. Bye-bye.